Alright, welcome scooter guys and gals, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Honda Ruckus, and we're going to talk about why things that you should consider before buying one. For you that don't know, and I'm sure all of you do, the Honda Ruckus is a 49cc scooter made by Honda. Has a max speed of roughly 35 to 36 miles per hour when you buy it new. The reason why most people get these is because they like to modify these to look the way that they look. And that's pretty much it, I'd like to say. I mean, it is a cool looking scooter and everything, so I'm sure that does play a part. There is plenty of stuff that you can do with them, but so let's get into the first thing that you really need to think about. That speed, that 35 miles per hour is slow. You're gonna see this is actually the road that I live on, I believe, is a 40 mile per hour road. We get up to about 35 for most of it, but you're gonna see later in this video I have to ride on a road that is a 45 mile per hour road. It's actually 30 right here. A 45 mile per hour road, and we are gonna get past a lot. Now that doesn't bother me, but from a safety aspect, if you are worried about having to ride on the shoulder in certain areas, or people passing you unsafely, or you're not checking your mirrors all the time, that is a concern. That is definitely a concern. So we're gonna do a top 5 here. So that's number 5. Number 4, storage. Storage is non-existent on these bikes. Basically, all you have for storage is a helmet lock. Now, you can buy under seat storage bags, and that works great. If you have the stock seat. Pretty much the first upgrade that anybody does on these is a lowered seat frame. Now, if you see my knees, they're they're pretty below the handlebars here, and these are the stock handlebars. The stock seat is another like 4 inches up. So basically my knees will hit into the handlebars, and I'm not like a huge guy. I'm about anywhere from like 5'10" to 6 feet. I haven't measured myself in like forever, but considering what other people say their height is and how tall I am compared to them, it's right in that area. If you are any taller than that, you are gonna have to do some extra modifications, and that's just something that you need to be prepared for. And the other thing is that a lot of those Ruckuses that you see on Instagram and stuff actually have lowered bars on top of this, and they only come down to about right here. So like, even with my lowered seat, if it was right here, I would also need a set of either rear mounted or front mounted pegs for this, and your comfort level becomes a concern at that point. Going about 40 right now, but we're downhill a little bit here, and I hope that this microphone sounds okay. This is my first time doing any sort of moto vlogging. I bought this on Amazon, and I just kind of have it taped into my helmet right now. So we're going over storage and speed. So let's go over number 3. Number 3, I would have to say, is looks of the bike. Do you like the way it looks? Like, those other 2 things are important, but there's ways around it. I mean, you can buy upgrades, you could do a whole motor swap, but looks are one of the really important things, I feel like, when you buy, whether it be a scooter or a motorcycle for that matter. And the Ruckus is kind of in a unique spot in the scooter world that its looks are completely different than anything else offered, pretty much. The competitors to this are really the Yamaha Zuma, the genuine Rough House, and the Kimco Agility, I believe is the name of it. The Kimco Agility is a bit cheaper, but the other 2 are right around the same price. They're all going to go at the same speed, but the the Ruckus uniquely has that metal tube frame styling. Everything else has those plastic fairings, and that's fine. But a lot of people don't like them. You do get the bonus of, usually on most of those, you can fit a full face helmet in storage under the seat, which is nice. And I think that the Agility may be a 2-seater. Keep in mind, the Kymco's 50cc may not be the Agility. I'm just going off memory here. Yeah, do the looks look good to you? And on that same vein, do you plan on modifying? Because if you do not plan on modifying, the Ruckus may not be for you. You may be better off with one of the other options. Number 2, and I would say this is also really important, but it's theft. Do you have a plan for theft? Now, this doesn't just go for the Ruckus, this goes for all small 50cc scooters. These weigh like nothing. I could probably load this into a car by myself in about 2 minutes. They weigh about 180 pounds, and that's something to be considered. I mean, Harleys get stolen all the time. They probably weigh at least 3 times as much as this. So, you know, that's an important thing to consider. If you live in a high crime area, that may be a problem for you. And before you say, well, I'm just going to get an alarm. Alarms don't do anything. The alarms on these, literally to turn the alarm off, there's 4 bolts on this thing. This is a battery box. There's 4 bolts, take that off, and then the alarm would be right there, because that's where the battery is. And I do have an alarm on my scooter, but I know that it won't do anything to a serious criminal. Somebody who has planned it out, who has a van, is going to just open that up and rip the alarm out in about 20 seconds, probably, if they brought a drill with them. So here you're going to see what I was talking about earlier with people passing you here. So we are going to go to the side here, which, by the way, this is not recommended everywhere. We are going to let these people by. As I was talking about, by feeling unsafe, you have to drive in this area here. In some states, this is actually what you're supposed to do. In my state, there's not really any clear guidelines on this. So your mileage may vary on whether or not you are supposed to be doing this. Fuck, what number was I on? We're going to say that was number 3. We're going to go to number 2. Number 2, distance traveled. Now, I am a glutton for punishment. My commute to work is, I'd like to say 20 or 25 miles. In my car, it takes me about a half hour to get there. On the Ruckus, it takes me about an hour. And of course, I have to go on different roads with the Ruckus. I can't take the highway like I would in my car. So that's another consideration. So I feel like that matters a lot. If you plan on driving roads like this, where it's, 45 mile per hour zone, I'd really recommend getting something else. And before you say, well, I'm just going to get it and I'm going to GY6 swap it like everybody else, or, we'll just leave it at GY6 swap, because the other swaps are actually pretty reliable. But the GY6 swap is reliable to a point. There's a reason that those motors only cost $300 new, and nothing is going to change my mind on that one. They're air-cooled, so they are definitely not as reliable as the Gets. And so for me, I won't GY6 swap. If I was going to do a swap, it would be with another Honda motor, either the Helix or the PCX 150. And not only that, once you get these things up to those kinds of speeds, these tires are small. I don't know if you saw me driving over that bump earlier, you heard it bottom out, but this suspension and these tires do not do well for potholes or really any sort of bumps. The little rumble strips on the side of the road you actually are okay on, but these tires are only like 12 inches tall, so pretty much any pothole you're going in and then back out. You're not gliding over them, and it can get really sketchy. I personally would not want to ride one of these at 60-70 miles per hour in my state anyways, because I know there's a lot of potholes, and your chances of being thrown off are good, even with better suspension, just because you're going to feel every single pothole. Now, the number one thing that I feel like you need to think about, which at that point kind of brings me to the next thing. The number one thing I think you need to think about is comfort. If you are a larger individual, you are going to have a bad time. Now, I weigh 260 pounds. I'm a large individual. And so why would I say that? Well, first off, if you see my feet, they're too long for this. Like, I don't fit on the stock floorboard, and this is already with a lowered seat. And the lowered seat pushes you back a bit. So you got that going for you. If you want to do all those modifications like online with lowered drag bars, you're going to be running a rear peg set, and you're going to be leaning forward, which once again lowers your comfort level. You're also going to need to do a shock upgrade if you weigh anything more than like 180 pounds. These shocks, the actual maximum weight limit on these motorcycles is 220 pounds, I'd like to say. And you will bottom out the rear suspension way before that. And if you hit decent sized potholes like are in my state, you will bottom out the front suspension before that. So that is a problem for both of those, and we are going to pull in here and get some fucking gas because my light is on, and we will be back afterwards. And we are back. So yeah, comfort. What is your comfort level necessary? If you're looking to do long cruises through a city where it's 25 miles per hour, chances are good that you are not going to have a problem. Now, if you're looking to do things like I am, where I'm traveling to a Walmart in Connecticut that is a 20-minute drive by car, so it's probably going to be 40 minutes on my scooter. This is a glutton for punishment type ride. You know, and the thing that comes into safety, I mean, comfort as well, I would say, is your safety. My safety is not the best, and that's a problem. So this is a speed limit 50 road, actually. Now this is not a highway or a freeway or anything like that, so I'll be fine, but, goddamn. But stuff like that, like this is gonna be an area where I know that it's not gonna be super duper safe, and that's fine for me, but maybe not for everybody. So those are the 5 things I would say that you really need to think about before you go out and you buy one of these. Anyways, that is all for today. I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and keep it rubber side down, scooter guys and gals. Peace.